If you've been in the writing community for a while, or are an avid watcher of writing vlogs on YouTube, then you've probably heard of the term zero draft before. But what is a zero draft? How do you use them, and do you have to create one? And is there a set way in which they have to be written? Hello everyone, it's been a long time since I've released a new Writer Rambles video, hasn't it? I'm frequently surprised how often some of my past Writer Rambles videos feature on my top content on my YouTube dashboard, so I thought it was only right to bring it back, and more frequently this time. For any of you who are new there, let me introduce myself. My name is K.T.KAYE, I am an author and my debut fantasy novel Red Witch is set to be released September 30th, 2026. Pre-orders are open, so please check out the link in the description. However, I never studied writing, nor was it actually my dream to become an author. Writing was a hobby that I enjoyed alone. I never thought it would become my job. It was simply a hobby that I took up one day because I had too many daydreams to contain in my head. Because of this, I've often felt lacking. Unlike other authors who have studied the craft, I found myself within this career and this community which I knew very little about. However, as my career has progressed, I have learnt. I have studied and cultivated my skills as a writer. I am still learning, still discovering new things about writing and about this industry, and I'm sure there are other people out there, perhaps watching this video, who are like me, like to write but have never studied the art, and feel a little lost within this writing world. So I have decided to restart this series on my channel, where we uncover and learn about different aspects of writing together, and I share with you my writer's rambles. Today we're talking all about zero drafts. Starting with the basics. What is a zero draft? The best way to consider a zero draft is that it's the middle point between an outline and draft 1. It's a place for you to write down the bare bones of your story without worrying about the structure or quality. Where an outline is more of a plan, a scene-by-scene breakdown of events, or a template in which to follow, a zero draft is more like building the idea for a story without filling in the details. Not every writer uses a zero draft. For those who do, find it a helpful method to get ideas onto the page. Now I'm going to be very unhelpful here and say that a zero draft can be whatever you want it to be. There's no set method or way in which they have to be structured or used. Different authors use zero drafts in different ways. Some authors use zero drafts as an extended outline, some use zero drafts as a place to write out scenes that they know will feature within their story, but don't know where they'll go yet, and some writers use their zero drafts as a place to word vomit their ideas about the story onto a page. I am one of those writers. I use zero drafts as a way to write out ideas I have about my novel in one place. I am more of a discovery writer, so I find it hard to outline a novel, as I'm not yet sure exactly where the plot is going to take me. My zero draft is a place for me to get into the story, to know the feeling that I'm going for, and for me to start considering where the plot will go. So I just open a Word doc or open a new page on Notion and write down everything I know about the plot and the story. I've already done my mind maps and have developed my ideas about the story. Now I'm using the zero draft to take these ideas and make them into something. I often write as if I'm talking to myself. I'll literally write things like, oh, I think this idea could do this, or I need to work out this bit, but this bit works, or maybe I can do this. I'm literally just kind of putting my thoughts onto the paper, literally just as I think them. I write them down and then I can go back through them and take out the bits that I don't need and just see what works for my story. Sometimes you start coming up with the ideas for your story. You envision certain scenes or conversations between characters. Here's where I dump those little scenes in a rough order so that I can remember them. These things might not appear until the end of the story, and as I have to write my drafts chronologically, by the time I get to that moment, I might not remember exactly what I wanted to put. A zero draft is the roughest form your novel will have. The first draft tends to be more cohesive, an attempt to get in things from the beginning to the end of your novel, whereas a zero draft is just a place to test out and jot down your ideas. The benefits of zero drafting is that it's very low stakes. You don't have to worry about getting stuck. If you can't work out how to write a scene, you can just skip it. It might help you avoid getting a block when you then officially start writing, as you already have this kind of loose sketch of where your story is going to go. This also helps you get an overview of your story, kind of a bit like an outline, but often it's a little bit more detailed. You're getting not only the kind of overview of the story, but also a look into some of the beats of the story. You can even reverse engineer an outline from your zero draft, which is something I do. Now, not all writers like zero drafts. People who are plotters and really go all out in the planning and outlining stages might not like the kind of loose, rough nature of a zero draft. Also, if you're someone who prefers drafting to rewriting, it's probably not for you. A zero draft is basically writing a really loose sketch of your first draft with the intention of rewriting it. You might prefer going straight into the first draft and getting that done. Also, if you're an overwriter, then again you might prefer going straight to the first draft, as the idea of a zero draft is for it to be the bare bones of your story, and often people say to stick within 10 pages, but that I think is actually up to you. However, if you are a discovery writer and like getting a general sketch and then adding in the details later, or if you're a discovery writer but you don't want to just punch your way through your novel, yet find outlining difficult like me, then this is quite a great middle ground for that. There is no wrong way to zero draft. Your zero draft might look very different to mine, and it just depends on what will help you. Don't worry too much. The idea is just to get your ideas out. This isn't the first draft, it doesn't need to be structured or make sense. Use this time to just explore possibilities and allow your ideas to thrive. Now, this is simply what works for me, my thoughts on zero drafting, but it might not work for everyone, and that's okay. We all work and write differently, and sometimes we need to uncover what doesn't work for us in order to find out what does. Do you use a zero draft? If so, how do you use it? Let me know in the comments below. I look forward to learning something new, and perhaps you'll be able to help out a fellow writer. Until next time, my lovely friends.